Item number 8, public hearings. Notices have been published, posted, and mailed. Hold a public hearing, waive the first reading, and introduce the ordinance imposing a 1.447% rate increase requested by Recology of San Bruno for 2011-2012 to be effective July 1st, 2011, as presented in the notice of proposed increase mailed to all property owners. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, Edmund Soon, Finance Director. In February of this year, Recology San Bruno requested a 1.447% rate adjustment. As provided under the franchise agreement, the rate adjustment is calculated based on an increase in the consumer price index and also an increase in disposal fees. In addition, based on feedback from the community and the City Council during last year's rate adjustment application process, Recology is ready to implement a residential 20-gallon total service that will take effect July 1st of this year. The proposed rate adjustment amounts to a 34-cent increase for the 32-gallon residential total service, bringing the monthly rate from the current $23.44 to $23.78. In comparing San Bruno's rates to 11 nearby agencies, the average residential 32-gallon total for these localities amounts to $24.12. That's actually slightly higher than what the proposed rate is for the City of San Bruno of $23.78. In addition to the proposed rate increase, the city has a program that was established by the City Council that provides a 25% discounted rate for the 32-gallon total service, which is currently the smallest size offered to households, for households with certain income limitations. The proposed 2011-12 rate schedule continues to offer that 25% discount, but only to the 32-gallon service. It does not add to the program the new 20-gallon service. So as staff reviewed the discount program and looked at what's available in some of our neighboring agencies, we found that the low-income program is actually not very commonly offered within the San Mateo County. The City of Pacifica does offer a low-income program, but only for the 20-gallon service and not for the 32-gallon service. So alternatives that the City Council may consider this evening include looking at expanding the the discount program potentially to the 20-gallon service. There's a little bit of a distinction with the discounted 32-gallon service versus the 20-gallon. It's a 60-cent difference. That being with the discount, the 32-gallon discounted rate is $17.84, whereas for the 20-gallon rate that's being proposed, it's actually $18.44. So there's a 60-cent difference in that rate. So some of the options for City Council to consider in terms of alternatives include offering, as I indicated earlier, offering that discount potentially to the 20-gallon service. There is a fiscal cost to this because obviously with the lower rate and the cost of rolling out the 20-gallon service, it would actually mean then we would have to identify those costs potentially down the road for Recology's recovery. The way it's set up right now in terms of offering the 20-gallon service is that when that was considered by Recology, we didn't know what the conversion rate would be from folks who are currently using 32 gallons to the 32-gallon service to the 20-gallon service, and therefore any increases that are associated with that is actually being postponed as agreed by the service provider Recology. So having said that, again, any changes that we would incorporate over and above continuing to offer the discount only to the 32-gallon service would equate to an adjustment, potentially a future adjustment to rates for the entire community. Staff has received 2 protests in terms of the rate increase, and these were actually provided as part of the staff reports. So since these protests do not actually represent a majority protest, obviously the City Council may proceed with a review of and the consideration of the proposed rate increase. With that, my recommendation, staff's recommendation, is to hold this public hearing, waive the first reading, and introduce the ordinance proposing the 1.447% rate increase requested by Recology that will take effect July 1st of this year. And then obviously leaving, as I identified in the rate schedule, leaving the 25% rate discount only applicable to the 32-gallon service. With that, I'm happy to take any questions from the City Council.
Just so we know the parameters, about how many low-incomes people take advantage of the 32-gallon discount?
Our tally shows approximately 430 households are taking advantage of the low-income program.
Okay. Any questions of staff at this point in time?
No.
No? All right, this time I'll open the public hearing. Anyone like to talk to the council about this issue? If I close the public hearing, you will be precluded from discussing this further with us, so now's your chance. Motion to close?
Move to close public hearing.
Second.
Motion second to close the public hearing. On the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the public hearing is closed. Is there any discussion or action by the council?
Through the chair.
There you go.
It was noted that for the 32-gallon, it would be a 34-cent increase. However, if a resident wished to go and reduce to the 20-gallon,
Correct.
which now is at a lesser rate, what would that be as far as a deduction? What percent? Or how much, I should say?
Yeah, the rate proposed for the the rate proposed for the 20-gallon service is $18.44. So there's a slight difference between that rate of $18.44 and someone who's eligible under the 25% discount of 60 cents, if I understood your question
Now,
correctly.
just wanting to know if I, instead of getting a 34-cent increase, because I have a 32, I decide to go to a 20,
Mhm.
what will that do as far as my bill, as far as I'll say savings? What is the percent? What is the deduction to my bill? Or for the garbage?
So yeah, we're moving from $23.78 to $18.44. So a difference of $5.34 in terms of dollar amounts. In terms of percentages, off the top of my head, probably about a 13-14% reduction.
So theoretically, as a concern, I think, of the council is if those residents have tried to recycle and have done a good job, there is theoretically a decrease that they can achieve by going to the 20-gallon.
That's correct. There's obviously that savings in moving down from the 32 to the 20-gallon service.
Okay. Thank you.
But that savings is now, but it will be actually analyzed in the future because we don't know what the rollout is at this point in time.
That's correct. As part of the discussions with Recology during the onset of this process, we don't know, obviously don't know what the conversion rate is, migration rate, if I may, from the 32 to the 20. So rather than speculate and build that into the rate increase, the agreement was basically, let's take real data at the end of the fiscal year, then we'll have actual numbers to look at in terms of identifying what that potential rate adjustment would be using actual data.
Okay.
Chair, just on
Yes.
your question, Mr. Mayor, does Recology have any ballpark figure of what that could be? Though I know we're not realizing real data or using real data currently, but do we have a thought or an idea, or is there some precedent that we kind of have a ballpark on that?
There were some calculations, if I may. There were
Sure.
some calculations that were done upfront of a migration rate. Currently, there's about 7,800 households that use the 32-gallon service. So if a 15% migration were to occur, that would translate into an increase or a loss of revenues and an increase in cost. When I say increase in cost, the components of the increase in cost includes obviously providing the 20-gallon container, which is an insert that's added onto the 32-gallon, and also some delivery costs associated with that. Using the 15% migration rate, that works out to be about a $74,000 amount, which then converts into an additional 20 cents, approximately 20 cents increase in terms of the rate. So that's obviously just a hypothetical.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Any questions? Action?
Move to waive the first reading?
Second?
Motion second on the floor to waive the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll introduce the ordinance.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Salazar.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.